Happy Friday! Are you guys ready for the best night ever?
I thought it was the best show.
No, the best night. The best show
switching
ever.
it up.
I'm switching it up. I'm trying to keep you on your toes. Welcome to Date Night with Connie and Chrissy. I'm your host, Connie Henriquez, and we have my favorite VIP, Chrissy Bo.
I better be your only co-host. What the heck?
VIP.
What does that mean?
A very important person? Jeez.
I never even heard that in my life.
Really?
Where'd you make that up
Dude,
from?
we've been posting it on Facebook for weeks.
No.
Totally.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, man. All right, let's move on.
I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was VIP.
Yeah, VIP. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know what it stood
it's the same
for.
Thing.
Guys,
anyway.
Guys, I didn't know.
Oh, goodness. So, Chrissy, what's going on? We did a show last week.
Yes, we did.
It was great.
Yes,
we had Gail. We had Gail, our matchmaker, and our singles chick on. She had a social event.
And we went to her event last night. Psychic night.
We did. And actually, before that, right? Because when you think about, it's been a crazy week. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you're exhausted.
Of course. I always am tired. I never
Exactly,
sleep.
I know. So you had gone to DJ Chef's event, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that.
DJ Chef, he is going to be a guest on our show one of these days
One
when
of
he's
these
not
days.
busy. But he is filming something for News 12.
Oh, cool.
It's called Tasty Tuesday. It'll be aired next Tuesday. So that's August 25th.
Nice.
So check it out. I was there with DJ Chef. We filmed at Jordan's Lobster in Long Beach. Do we have the pictures?
So, Vic, you could pull up Chrissy's pictures.
Yes. And,
the food. There's a food thing.
All right. So we were with Elizabeth Hasshagen from News 12. She was awesome. She was very nice.
Oh, she seems very nice. Okay.
Yeah. DJ Chef made his famous Cutthroat Kitchen fish tacos. He won on Cutthroat Kitchen.
Really?
Yeah, he was the winner.
Why can't we have some fish tacos? Where do we get this stuff?
I don't eat fish, but he'll make them for us when he comes on the show.
Oh, my God, totally.
He also makes a very good banana bread pudding.
Interesting.
I always tell him to make something new. He's been doing it for years, since I've known him, since like 2005. I'm like, can you come up with a new dessert, chef? Come on.
Oh, my God, so much pressure you put on him.
Well, whatever. Did we show all the pictures?
Yes.
What about the tequila guy?
Did you, yes.
Did we show the tequila guy?
Yeah. Chrissy was with some tequila.
Oh, you showed it already?
Yes, we did.
Oro de, I want to make sure I'm saying it right, Jalisco Tequila. That was who was there with DJ Chef.
So
it's the most smoothest tequila I ever tasted in my life.
Did you have a shot or you had it with something?
It was in something. But I sniffed it out of the bottle.
It smelled good. Okay.
The rosé one, if you saw it, was like the light color, like it looked like a red wine. That one they age in a wine barrel, so it does really taste like wine.
Oh, really?
I never smelled, tequila's like, I can't do tequila.
I actually prefer Patron.
But this guy's,
you're saying it's good.
No, this guy's tequila was very smooth. So if there's any bars out there, restaurants or clubs, and you want to get Oro de Jalisco Tequila, you got to call Roberto Merlino. He's also an actor.
Oh, really?
He was in a lot of mafia movies as an extra. This guy's awesome. You got to call him at 917-568-7672.
Nice.
That was 917-568-7672.
Nice. I love how we give numbers.
I got to give it out. And by the way, I'm missing the Jets game right now. I know it's only preseason, but this is game 2, Jets versus the Falcons. It started at 7:30.
Nice.
And I hope somebody texts me with the score.
You can keep us updated.
Scotty at Miller's text me with the score.
We just left them.
What did you do? You went to Sag Harbor? What did you do?
Went to Sag Harbor.
You didn't even
beautiful.
tell me about it.
I know. Actually, I feel like I don't know where you were on Saturday.
I don't know where it was.
I don't know. Oh, I know where you were actually. So yeah, we went to Sag Harbor.
Okay.
We went to an amazing restaurant. I highly recommend it. First of all, Sag Harbor is beautiful.
It is gorgeous, yeah.
And we went to a restaurant, Sag Harbor in
Southampton.
Yeah. Same thing, sort of. But it's called Barron's Cove. And we actually saw this fabulous sun. Vic, you want to pick up the Sag Harbor pic, which you may have already done. Look how beautiful that is.
Where's you and Jizza?
Well, we're in the car. That's the picture in the car.
Oh, my God.
And that is Party in the Park. So moving quickly on, we went to, we hung out with Steve Carl on Wednesday night.
He's awesome.
He's totally awesome. We went to Party in the Park. It's at Carlisle and the Green.
Yep.
And look how many, there were literally 2,000 people there.
You took a picture?
Totally.
Of the crowd?
I couldn't amaze it. I was amazed at how many people were there.
Yeah, he brings a lot of
2,000 people.
Yep.
It was crazy. We had a really great time.
I'm doing something wrong.
What do you mean?
I got to become Steve Carl and get 2,000 people in my place.
Steve Carl is totally cool. He attracts a really big crowd. I mean, there was a lot of great people. If you're single, you're wanting to go out.
Yeah. Every
cool
Wednesday.
place to be. Yeah, every Wednesday until I think Labor Day.
There's a band. What was it? That 70s band.
There was a DJ. Oh yeah, there was a band and there was a DJ too.
I like that band. I don't like 70s music, but I like that there was a sax in the band.
Yeah.
Like Dave Matthews.
And they did really good.
They did. I was impressed.
That 70s band was good. Yeah.
I was impressed.
They were
not really my type of crowd so much, guys.
Well, and just so you know, guys, yeah, Party in the Park has a little bit more mature crowd.
Yeah.
Which is all cool and all, but just a little bit more mature.
Right. It's not JT's.
No. But JT's kind of mixed anyway.
But shout out to JT because he finally gave me a JT shirt.
No.
I've been asking him. I've been asking him for like.
How come you didn't tell me? I didn't know this.
I forgot to tell you. I got it. I got it on Sunday.
Chrissy literally goes there every weekend. So if you don't want to hang out with Chrissy, he gave it to you for free.
I got a shirt. I got the shirt that the waitresses wear.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Now you're mad.
No, I'm not
He's going to give you one. Don't worry.
No, I think it's great that you finally got a shirt. I don't go there often. I go there like every Friday after the show. That's it.
You don't sound bitter.
No, totally not.
I'm going to get you one. Don't worry.
No, I always said I didn't.
The cook has the key to the shed. Just don't forget that. He told us that he has.
I think the valet guy did.
He does too. But remember the chef?
Chrissy goes there all the time. I thought it was.
I'm friends with everybody.
I thought it was odd that you didn't have a shirt already.
I know. Me too. Well, whatever. I should have wore it. Yeah. What's your self-love?
My Start Loving Life tip of the day is it's so easy to get stuck in the past when you have nothing to look forward to. Create something to look forward to.
I like that.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. Now, how do you do that?
Well, when you think about it, you ever hear people talk about their past? Like it's like...
Yeah, Connie. I hear it all the time.
Yeah, right? Isn't it like nuts?
Yeah.
I never talk about my past, ever.
You don't?
Who cares? Never.
Never.
Who cares?
All right.
No, like it doesn't matter. I have like an amazing present.
Okay.
And future. Anyway, so the whole point is plan ahead. You know, like life goes by. If you don't pay attention, it's not my mic.
It doesn't matter.
If you don't,
just go with it.
Right. If you don't plan ahead, you know, life is so amazing. Don't just like go with I go with the flow. That's not true.
You are very easy go.
But like plan ahead. Like have things that you're looking forward to. Do crap. Do shit. It's like very easy.
Crap. Now we're on Howard Stern. You're cursing.
No. So yeah, just make sure you do.
So get a life, like you always used to say.
Yes, exactly. Get a life.
Go out there.
Don't focus on what you did in the past. Focus on what you're doing now. There's so many amazing things that you can be doing now.
But a lot of people do get stuck on the past.
I know they really do. I'm not sure why, but if you are and you talk about your past a lot, which is really fine, and I'm sure there's a lot of great things, just know that you want to make your future so much better than your past. So just focus on what you're doing like in the future and today and all that stuff, and things will get good.
Things will get good. All right.
Will get good.
You heard it here first, guys. Call in and let us know.
Call and let us
with
know.
the success stories.
We're not going to give you the number, so whatever.
All right.
And what's the bestie
of the week? This is awesome. I cannot wait to do this.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was.
But unfortunately, there's a waiting list. So it's try.com. There is a waiting list for it, but anyway, it's a Google Chrome add-on toolbar button that lets you shop and try clothes from your favorite stores for free, like Zara and Shopbop. Those are my two favorite stores, by the way.
But let me ask you a question. How do you try them on?
So you simply just hit the. Do we have the picture where you simply hit the button, the try button, and then you'll get the item delivered for free. So you pick whatever you shop, you pick whatever items you want. Then it gets shipped to you for free. And then within 2 to 6 business days, you'll have it. And then they let you have like 10 days to try it for free.
So they ship it to you and you could try it for 10 days.
Right. And they give you a prepaid shipping label.
Oh, that is the key.
You keep what you want. So you pay whatever you keep, you pay for, obviously. And then you ship back whatever you don't want. But this is Nike is on there.
I would totally do that. I buy so much stuff and I return it. Like I buy a bunch of stuff knowing I'm not going to fit in all the sizes.
Right.
I try it on, I find my size, and I return everything else.
Exactly. This is the best thing that that they ever invented.
That's interesting. Is every store available on it?
Not every store. No, it's certain stores. You got to go on there and look. But Zara and Shopbop are my favorite too. And then there's also Nike on there. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, I hate going to the mall. And I'm not a person that could go. My sister is good at this. She can go into Marshall's and look through the racks.
Yeah, shop. I'm not good like that either.
I'm not like that. I like to shop online. I like to just pick crap out.
Me too, and I'll get a couple of sizes because you never know
whatever.
what size you're going to be. Sometimes with different brands.
Well, try.com, guys. There's a waiting list, though. I'm on it right now.
But wait, why is there a waiting list?
Because everybody and their mother wants to do this.
Well, it kind of defeats the purpose if there's a waiting list.
Guys, just get on the waiting list, all right? It's try.com. Just go on it.
All right, I like it.
All right, let's get Colleen.
Wait, we didn't even say who our guest was tonight.
Well,
Vicky, can you show the pitch of the beautiful Colleen Mullen? And we'll see.
Who is the sister of Frank?
Oh, we forgot about Gail.
Suffocation.
Gail, no, not yet. Hold on. Chrissy has no glasses on right now.
I don't.
We actually went to Gail's social event last week.
Oh.
This week, actually.
No, last night.
That was Gail. I know.
Psychic night.
Yeah.
We had a psychic reading.
We did.
We got an impromptu free one from Mickey.
We did. So if anyone watched the show last week, which I'm sure you all did, Gail, our matchmaker and our speed dater,
event coordinator.
She had an event last night, and we all went.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
It was.
And we had psychic readings. It was a blast.
Margaret Russo, she was amazing.
She was amazing.
She's
she totally got stuff off the cuff. Didn't she was good.
Yeah, look her up, Margaret Russo, and the other guy was Mickey.
Mickey was
He's a
great
medium.
too. Right. And so now moving on to the next picture, we have Dr. Colleen Mullen, who's our life coach. And when we come back from commercial, we're going to ask great questions about how to move forward from self-defeating patterns and how to make sure that you can encourage.
Pick the right partner.
Yeah.
But don't forget, she's Frank's sister from Suffocation.
So my sister Natalie's boyfriend, Frank Mullen of Suffocation. It's his sister. Why
aren't they in our audience?
I know. They had plans tonight. She actually apologized.
Thanks, guys.
I know.
We missed you.
Thanks, Nat. Sorry about that.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with Colleen.
Yeah.
Bulldog.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with your one and only Madhousetv. You are the man.
Stretching under sedation or manipulation under anesthesia is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin. Galaxy Luxury Coach.
And we're back with Dr. Colleen Mullen, the fabulous Frank Mullen's sister. We love that.
Hey, Colleen.
Welcome.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Great. Good. How are you? Thank you for wearing pink.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it was great to be able to shop for you guys.
Did you go to try.com?
We're so demanding.
I'm going to now.
All right.
I love it. We have to be a little bit more quieter because of the. Okay.
I talk loud naturally, guys.
I know, me too. All right. All right, Kyle. So listen, I've seen all over Facebook, and it's very interesting, and I want to know more about it. Chrissy wants to know more about it. What exactly is coaching through chaos?
Okay, so coaching through chaos means a lot of things to me, or it is a lot of things to me, but it's the name of my private practice and my podcast right now. But where it comes from is my doctorate studies. Wow. And at the time I was getting my doctorate, I was running a really large drug and alcohol rehab center. And I watched people kind of keep going through the same patterns of behavior and get pulled back into what they know and relapse. And I was also studying chaos theory at the same time, and kind of took a concept from chaos theory called the Lorenz attractor, or strange attractor, which I like that name. But the model fits as a map for helping people explain or understand their process of change. So what I do is I use it as a mapping tool to help my clients understand what the change process is like, because if they can get through a certain period called what's called the chaotic transitory period, they can kind of sustain themselves. That can take a while, but if they can sustain themselves, they can kind of make permanent changes in their life. But it's the thing that happens, and it's not just in addiction stuff, although that's where a lot of my work is. It's in relationships, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that, you know, kind of getting stuck in the same patterns tonight. But coaching through chaos, that's what that means. But now, as the name of my private practice in San Diego, I get calls all the time that people are like, oh, I need to talk to you because I have a lot of chaos in my life. But that's not exactly how I meant it, but it worked out nicely.
But you created it. You created that name and you created the system?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was, my doctoral thesis was creating this as an applied way of using chaos theory in psychology and applied to family systems.
Nice.
Wow.
We like it.
Well, since you did say that we're going to get into relationships, I have a lot of single friends out there. And one of the main problems I always hear all my single friends say is, why do I keep picking the wrong man over and over? Like, why does that keep happening? So what do you tell somebody that comes to you and says, why does this keep happening? I keep picking the wrong person.
Right. Well, you know, I think we've all been there at some point, and until we kind of get aware of like what motivates us, I mean, really it comes from our unconscious motivations that kind of get us attracted to the same kind of person over and over again. But when we get a hold of that, we get aware of that, we can start addressing it. But there are certainly people who, you know, the people who always have a dramatic partner, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, there's always drama in their lives. You know, you help that person figure out, like, maybe they just, I mean, it's going to sound trite, but maybe they need to go to more movies. Maybe they need to find things that are a lot more interesting and stimulating in their life so that they don't look for it in their relationships. The people that like to always kind of, I call them the broken birds, the people who want to always help the person who just, you know, the guy who has potential or the girl who could be like the dream girl, but she just isn't. You know, I look at those people and look at like, how can they bring in that need to help others? How can they bring that into their life so that they don't find it in their bedroom? Because that's what happens. People kind of bring what their core need is into their intimate relationships. So I kind of help them look at that and figure out what's going on for them and where they come from, what the models were in their families and what they knew growing up and their other relationships, and help them change that.
So it's really, they have to work on their own, like if it's a woman who's coming to you saying, I'm picking the wrong man all the time, I keep drawing the same person in. You help.
Well, we would look at what is the trait that you keep getting attracted to, and obviously it's not working for you, and we'd look at, okay, so how do we change that so that early enough in the relationship, when that, what they call the red flag, when the red flag comes up, that you don't overlook it and say, well, it's not that bad, because that's what happens. People will go and say, well, it's not as bad as the last one, so I can overlook it, but it's still there. So know that almost everybody that you ever date or have a relationship with, they're all part of the same club. You know, they all have something in common, even if they look very different.
Wow.
You know, and sometimes people base that and say, well, he looks nothing like the last one, like the total physical different type, but guaranteed the personality still has a little bit of a thread that's similar.
So, Carl, would you say that a lot of that is a result of either your past childhood or your past relationships in terms of how you then identify new relationships?
Yes, and I'd say absolutely. It comes from what we learn really early on, and what's modeled for us in our homes. So how to modeling good, healthy relationships or bad relationships, and we kind of gravitate towards like the best and the worst of our parents' relationship in our intimate relationships as we get older. So that's why a lot of us do trip over things in our early adulthood, early relationships in our 20s. We kind of keep making some similar mistakes because a lot of us come from, chaotic homes and split up homes and things that had a lot of drama in it. And, when we don't have an ideal relationship or a really nice, happy, healthy relationship modeled for us, we have to make sense of it on our own.
And a lot of people that don't go to therapy or a lot of people that don't work on themselves, and they go into these relationships and all that comes up. How do they fix that if they're not willing to work on themselves and go to therapy?
Well, and yes, therapy would be kind of like the end of like like trying to do different things and learn new ways of interacting in the relationship, but even some level of self-awareness. But if they're not going to if they don't recognize it in themselves and they just kind of think, well, the next one will be different, and they don't change anything about it, more than likely they're just going to keep going in those same patterns. And at some point, they may pair up with one of them that lasts, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be healthy. So they might get themselves in long-term relationships with people that just don't work for them, but that's what they decide to do. So the only thing a person can do is kind of raise their own awareness, really look at what's going on for them. And certainly when people are trying to do that through self-help books and reading different things, watching different videos and trying to learn on their own, if it doesn't work, certainly counseling and therapy can help them.
Okay. How do you build trust?
So, Carl, would you say that's similar to, because obviously your website mentions a lot about helping people stop self-defeating or sabotaging relationship patterns. So would that fall into that category?
Yes. And so what's usually behind the self-sabotaging relationships or the self-sabotaging behavior, is your core beliefs. And if anybody really wants to understand core beliefs in a nice, easy way, they should just go see the new Pixar movie that's out, because I just saw it the other day. And it's all about understanding core beliefs in a really neat way.
What movie is that?
What's that?
What's the movie?
Inside Out. It's the current Pixar movie that's out.
Oh, I didn't hear of it.
In any case, that movie explains core beliefs. But what our core beliefs are, they're kind of the things that we make up when we're really little that say that we, the good ones are, we're going to be loved, or we're lovable. I deserve good things in the world. I'm a healthy person. I'm a happy person. Those kind of things. Yeah. But when we get mixed signals or negative signals when we're little, we develop core beliefs that say, I don't quite deserve, I don't deserve anything good. Nothing's ever going to work out for me. I don't deserve this. I'm not lovable. And when we have those underlying unconscious beliefs in us, they really, they lead to self-sabotaging motivations. And the motivations are, done so that you can, they're done to protect yourselves. Okay. So our unconscious tries to protect ourselves, but actually works right against us. So the person who says, I want to have a healthy, trusting relationship, I just want honesty in my relationship, but they get triggered all the time because they've been cheated on in earlier relationships, will find themselves compulsively checking their boyfriend's phone, or, wanting to know what the messages are on Facebook, or wanting to be overconnected all the time because they don't trust him. And so what happens is their unconscious processes are dictating that they act in ways that actually push the person away, because they're saying, I don't, the message is, so, and they're saying all I want is honesty, but they're acting in a way that says you're not trustworthy.
So now that you just, spoke about trust, then how do you build trust early on in a relationship so that doesn't happen? Okay,
so I think that's where a lot of people probably should take more time is in the early parts of a relationship. A lot of people think that because they maybe have like skyrockets going off after the first couple of dates and everything that, oh, this is, this is the best thing ever. This is so different than anything I ever knew. And usually, like, you don't have trust because you have a lot in common. You have trust because over time, the person has shown that they're reliable, that they say that they do the things that they do, that they come through when you need them, and that you come through for them when they need you. So you start building mutual trust. You know that when they say they're going to be somewhere, they're there, and you meet up with them. It's things that take time. So when people say, and I don't want to chide anybody that like met and 2 weeks later they got married and 50 years later they're happy. That's great. It does happen. Yeah. But when we come from, if somebody said, well, I had this, I just kept dating the wrong guy and then I met this one and 2 weeks later that was it for me and we just trusted each other so much, I would hesitate to kind of believe that trust. I would say, let me know how it's going in 9 months and we'll see where the trust is. And if it's strong there, then we've got a good thing going on. But because it usually takes like 9 months to 18 months or so to really cement yourself in a relationship. Wow. So when people come in and they say, oh, well, we've been dating, 6 months and this is, such a good relationship and I'm looking at the future, I'll work with that person on that and where they are. And we keep talking about how are you building trust? How are you knowing that this relationship is something that is solid for you and meeting your emotional needs? Because we're all on our best behavior in the beginning of the relationship. Right. So it's only once you start letting your guard down and you get off your best behavior that you allow yourselves to argue and disagree about things and show your differences of opinion and start giving each other some autonomous space. And that's when you need to have the trust.
And if somebody's inconsistent.
Yes. Right. So you want to build it so that you have consistency in a relationship and reliability. Okay.
So, Kyle, what is the time frame you say? You say between 6 and 9 months where you can get a better gauge?
Oh, certainly. Like once somebody gets past 6 months in a relationship, starting about, oh gosh, everything was great, and then we had this great big fight, and I didn't know where that came from. It's probably because you're just getting really comfortable with each other, and that's okay. Like, you're going to argue. Right. I have this extra training on top of the doctorate and the master's in relationships and certain theory, and it's not even to get people to not argue anymore. It's to get them to understand how to repair the damage that happens when you do argue and how to argue more effectively. So we're never going to say that you shouldn't argue with your partner.
Right, because is it healthy to argue or some level of it? I mean, everyone's going to argue, so.
Well, certainly. I mean, we're, to take two adults that come from two different, places on Earth, families with two different ways of interacting, and to think that you should always be on the same page all the time in the same mood and able to hear everything is kind of, really unrealistic. But I think, there's certainly times we all go through that romanticized period where we think it should always be wonderful. Right. So it becomes really as a shock to our system when it's not. But it's learning, well, what's the trade-out? It's like a cost-benefit analysis sort of. What am I getting out of the relationship that totally outweighs the times that we don't get along?
What is the healthiest way to fight then, or argue with your partner?
Especially, Carl, for example, if you have a difficult partner and perhaps you're wanting to communicate and resolve it, but maybe they get a little defensive, and not because they mean to, but how do you move past that?
Certainly, and before I go into their stuff, I should say that I practice under the Gottman model, so I'm going to give them credit for this, and they have what's called the Gottman.
What is it called?
Defensiveness, contempt, stonewalling, and criticism. Yeah. And so I'll just talk about criticism and defensiveness. When we, if you take a critical thinking class at school, that's logical thinking, but we call it critical thinking, Right. So criticism comes across as like logic. So, your partner says, well, you should know this, or why do you always have to? And they kind of come from a place of superiority and you feel talked down to. And whenever that happens, you then have a defensive partner to meet up with them. So you want to break those things away. And there's certainly ways that you can do that. One of them they call the gentle startup. So you go and say, well, I know that you're really, like, you've got a lot of emotions behind this thing that you believe, but I want to tell you how it makes me feel when you say this to me. Or, I know you have a lot of passion for this in your life, but I want you to know how it affects me when you say these things. And to kind of let them, to kind of ease into it and say, is it okay if I express my opinion about this with you, so that it doesn't come across as critical.
But do you think, I could see women being that way, but don't you think men have a harder time conveying that type of communication?
Well, very often and I can't say that it's gender specific in any way. I get a lot of couples where it's mixed, where the man is critical or the woman's critical. So I think when it comes down to it, when you start seeing the ins and outs of lots of people's relationships, as I do as a couples therapist, it does model that person growing up, and most often, like, we can learn probably on our own the best of how to be in a relationship, but when we're in our worst, we do the worst of our parents' relationships, and we play out their worst arguments.
Right.
So, Connie, it looks like you're connecting with that.
She's like, is that true?
No, I'm like, is that how it really works? That's interesting.
Seems to be that, I mean, we model what we know. Our parents are the first models for any relationship stuff that we have. And that goes for step parents as well, you know, I mean, and so that's why it's so important for parents to model healthy relationships, even if they break up, because your kid still needs to know how to interact with somebody and not have to cut ties and not have to just be angry all the time.
Right.
So, but we carry those things. Those things form when we're young, and they carry with us. But like I said, all this stuff can be changed. And that's why, I mean, there's hundreds of books, probably thousands, on how to have healthier relationships. You know, depends on what you're looking for. So you can certainly study up or go see a counselor and stuff and kind of repair those things and learn different ways of communicating. But yes, certainly I'm a systemic psychologist. I look at a person like family system psychology. So I look at the person in the context of the environment in which they were raised and in which they live and in which they work. And so certainly, you know, systemic psychologists believe that those influences certainly determine how we live later on.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
Colleen, we're just going to take a quick break.
And then we're coming back.
On that note. But that's great advice. She's been the most informative person.
We've always had informative
She's very
people.
but she's
break
great.
Time.
We'll be right back.
No, we can totally
and we're back.
I'm going to ask her about the past.
Go ahead,
we're
Chris.
back. All right,
Colleen. You're up.
So how do you not let the past get in the way of your current, the present?
What you experienced in the past?
Right. Your past relationships. How do you not?
Right. So you want to, I was just saying to somebody today, like, you know, we all have baggage and you have to decide how big the suitcase is, right? You know, you guys have heard that probably. So what you want to do is stay very present. Connie just mentioned before we even got into the interview about that she doesn't talk about the past because she's got a really cool present and future. And that's really the key to things, is to kind of pull yourself out of the destructive thoughts that your mind gives you, to say, like, let me look around, let me see what's going on, and stay really present. And then, you know, as a technique that someone can do, there's an exercise in cognitive behavioral psychology called the 3 C's. Right. It's called catch it, check it, change it.
Oh, I like it.
You catch the thought, you check the thought, and you change the thought.
Love that.
So how this would work is if you, we'll take you've been cheated on before, right? Okay. In the past, I'm not asking, but if you've been cheated on before.
We all have been, Kyle. God.
Would be suspicious. Let's say you get triggered. Somebody said to me one time they got really suspicious when their boyfriend turned their phone off for the night because he said, I just want to spend time with you. And the guy sounds like a stellar boyfriend. But the girl said, I didn't know what to do. Like, I totally think he's hiding something from me. Mm-hmm. So we want to check. So you catch the thought. The thought is he's being sneaky. He's cheating on me. Mm-hmm. Then you check it and you say, okay, well, let me look around for evidence of that. Well, no, up until he shut the phone off, I thought he was really honest. I felt really good. He pays attention to me. We have a good time. So then you have to change the thought. Okay. So then you say, no, I know he loves me. I know we have a good time. I know that he's not going to betray me. So you catch it, check it, change it. Oh, you do that with so many things.
So we should
That's a neat little trick that people can learn.
I love that.
Great idea.
Because most people don't. They just go right for, oh, why are you shutting your phone off? What, are you cheating on me?
It's so true.
Turn it on.
It's so true. And it's so funny how
That's
a lot
of problem. Yeah. We all react, and everybody needs to slow down. I talk with couples so much about slowing down. Like, you just have to think before you speak. And I'm sure all of our mothers said it to us at one point. Think before you open your mouth. Think before you speak.
Right.
Because it's really important. Because most of the time when we react like that, it's not because of what's going on in the present. It's because something was triggered, an old wound from the past was triggered, and our unconscious is telling us we need to protect ourselves, and then out comes those sabotaging behaviors again.
But how do you I'm sorry, not to cut you off for your question, but how do you decipher that, maybe it's that, or maybe it's your intuition telling you that there is something not right? If the person...
Well, that's why, like, so I would recommend, if you're like, okay, like, I'm pretty sure this is going on, that's the catch it, check it, change it. You want to catch that, and when you're checking it, you're going to find evidence.
Okay.
So then you're not going to change that thought, because you're like, okay, so if I have evidence that something is wrong, you know, and then I'd say, you know, why hold on to that? Why not just be in a relationship where you can say, hey, this made me really uncomfortable. We need, like, I want to talk about it, you know, and do with it what you want. It's either going to work out where the guy's like, or the girl's like, oh my God, like, you're crazy, like, that didn't happen.
Right.
Or it's going to react and say, oh, okay, fine. And that happens too. And you have to know that when you confront the person or just address them, I won't say confront, it doesn't have to be a confrontation. Right. But when you address it, you have to be prepared for the answer.
So, Carl, quick question, because you actually made a really good point. When you're in a position where you see things that are related to your past, so you're, you know, associating it one way, what is the best way to address it so they don't get defensive, but they're more understanding of where you're coming from?
Okay. So I would tell somebody to set it up as, you know, you can say, I know I might be being crazy about this. I might be a little neurotic about this, but this is because of what happened before. Like, let's say the person knows your past relationships. You can say, you know that this happened, and I have to say that when this happened, whatever it was, when you shut your phone off the other day, it made me think something weird was going on. Right. And I want to be able to have weekends with you where you don't have your phone on, because I think it's great, but I want to be able to tell you that, like, it totally triggered this crazy neurosis in me. Like, it totally made me crazy for a minute, and I thought you should know about that. So, you know, and they'll say, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry if that happened. Do you need me to turn it on? And you'll say no, but...
Will they really react like that, Carl?
No, I think that's true. I think when you're honest, I will say, Carl, based on what you said, that when you're honest and you say, hey, because you did this, I felt this, the other person could be like, oh, no, that's silly, or, you know, oh.
If somebody's self-aware. I feel
Well,
like
yeah.
a lot of people are not self-aware.
That's true, too.
That's what I run into.
Right.
Well, and Chrissy, what will happen in those relationships? So the person who continues to keep acting on those impulses that tell them that they just can't trust their partner, or they just, something's wrong, and they just keep reacting to it, they're going to find themselves in like cycling through relationships, because they're not going to last. Because at some point, a person is going to say, no, I was totally with you. I was totally trying to get you, and you kept pushing me away. And I don't want to be scrutinized like that. I've been honest with you, and you can't handle honesty, so I'm going to go and find someone else who's going to be honest.
That's a great,
you know, and wants that.
Now, how do you deal with, I see a lot of, you know, what are your thoughts on unrequited love? Like people who feel like, you know, they're upset that they lost somebody. They feel like, I really love the person, but in reality, if the person loved them, then they would be with them. So obviously the love wasn't mutual.
Yeah, you know, and those situations are tough. You have to think about, okay, well, find something to take away from it. It'll sound a little easy, but like find something to take away with it. Like, what was it that you truly loved about that person? Because I mean, there's many billion people on the planet. So there are other people with those traits. It's unfortunate that if you felt that way about someone and you love them that much, that they couldn't see it in the same way. And you have to accept that, and then you have to find a way to move forward from it, so that you're not carrying around this big heavy weight on your chest, because every time someone wants to get close to you, you think, gosh, but it's not like so-and-so. You know, you have to let go of that person and move forward.
And that's,
yeah.
I feel like
so I like to think you can take away something good from most relationships, you know, or all relationships, really.
What's your advice for letting go, for somebody who has trouble letting go?
So if someone's in a position and they were wanting to move forward, what would they do?
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the hardest things for people to do, is to let go.
I would say I would tell them to recommend a couple of things when they're ready. Is jump in with 2 feet into the next venture. Like I heard you guys talking about, like a speed dating thing.
Right.
Like it doesn't mean they have to. It doesn't mean that they have to start a new relationship with someone.
Right.
But they need to just jump in and see what the world has to offer as far as other people go. You know, as far as other people is around. But I would also, it involves a lot of self-talk. You know, we talk about cognitive behavioral stuff. We talk about like self-talk a lot, because we want to change those ideas that they had in their head that was the only person for me. You know, when people hold on to that was the only love that I was ever going to have, that's a really self-defeating place to be in. And very often people have to let go of that and accept that, well, that was the really strong love that I felt at that time. And if it was, as you said, if it was meant to be, and you have that romanticized ideal of the world, is that it would have worked out. You know, you would have found a way. And then there's the people who hold on to, but like maybe they had to end the relationship because the person was alcoholic or on drugs or something, and they thought, well, they just couldn't, if he had only done that or she had only done this, we could have been perfect.
Right.
But you can't create what wasn't there. You can't live, and that's a dangerous place to live, in the what ifs. If you live in the what if this and what if that, you are just destined to kind of keep yourself stuck. So it really, again, you have to say, well, what if that? Well, you can't live there. You know, this is what it is. And you have to look at what life presented you and say, okay, well, that's the cards that I was dealt right now. So I'm going to make sure that I like somebody who's just like that guy or girl without the rest of the mess, you know, and see if I can find that.
No, that's great advice, because I think a lot of people live in the what ifs.
Right. Now, Kyle, question, and probably it kind of jumps on top of that. So what about those people that constantly question themselves? Like, oh, if I did this or I did that, it would have been different. Like, what do you suggest to them?
Yeah, those are shoulds. Like, I think that's what you're referencing. Like I should be doing this, or I should have done that. Or
right, and you're second guessing yourself, and you're torturing yourself after a relationship that failed, and it's kind of just like a tough road.
Right. That kind of thinking actually leads to a lot of self-loathing, and it leads you to be really judgmental of other people around you, because you think, well, you know, and so like if we focus just on the part about yourself, like, well, if I had only done this, maybe he would have stayed. If I had only done that, maybe, you know, things would have been different. And if you live there, you can't help but like not like the person that you are when you look at yourself, because you think that you just wrecked your whole life and your whole relationship. So you have to be able to, again, tell yourself something different. You have to start changing. They call it changing the narrative. You have to change the narrative that you're living by. And you have to say, well, I did the best that I could with what I was equipped with. And if I was presented with that in the future, I would choose to do something different. Like, I know I'm a different person now, and you might have a little cry over the fact that that guy won't know that he could have a different relationship with you. Like, maybe you fixed all the stuff that was wrong, you know, and maybe you wouldn't react the same way anymore. But you have to kind of mourn that one and say, okay, I get it, and move on and move forward.
What do you think are some red flags that people can look out for in the beginning of a relationship so they don't get too far in and then end up with heartbreak?
Right. Well, that's where I would say, you know, instead of I forget what it was, but that's where I would say to trust your instincts. So red flags for you, you know, I think most people have at least an idea in their head, and sometimes it's even good to write it relationship for you, and then like those are the deal breakers, and then the ones that are like the pliable, changeable traits in a relationship. And if any of the deal breakers exist, certainly you have to say, oh, but it was 3 out of 4. But a deal breaker is just that. It's a deal breaker. So when you make this list, you have to think, well, it can't be all that, except if he's really, really nice or really, really sweet to me, then I'll overlook this.
Right.
Because it depends on which deal breaker are you going to overlook. Like not having a job. Are you going to overlook doing drugs? Are you going to overlook being angry, you know, and short-tempered? Are you going to overlook, you know, being insensitive? Which one would you overlook in a deal breaker situation? So you have to think about what ultimately you want later on in a relationship, and you have to think from the beginning, is this person someone I could create that relationship with? And if they're not, you have to really think about it. And I think that's the hard part, is that people get involved in relationships and they go, I mean, as early as 3 weeks or 4 weeks in, they will start saying, oh, but it was only this, or oh, but that. And the minute you feel that in the early part of the relationship, you really have to stop and say, well, why did your mind signal that to you? Like, listen to yourself. Why did that alarm go off for you? Maybe you should listen to the alarms. So, but I would like to point out, though, on that, with the red flags and the alarms going off, you know, I talk to people about, like, when they've had a lot of really harsh relationships in the past, maybe mom and dad didn't model anything good. Maybe one parent was totally absent, the other one just stayed, you know, angry for years, or just had, you know, relationship after relationship that just didn't work out. And that person then gets involved as an adult and starts having relationships that just feel self-defeating and just feel like they're not healthy. That person, and then if they've had any kind of trauma in their life, their alarms don't go off. You know, people that, and there's a model even in trauma too, that, you know, people that have had really bad things happen in life, you know, you can't fault them for their alarms not going off. But they can be, they probably should work on learning where the alarms go off for people who haven't had stress. So people in life, like where, and I'm looking at, making sure you guys can see my hands in the camera.
We
so
see it.
You're on the ground floor, and you go, you know, and the elevator starts going up, and like someone will say, well, I carry this amount of stress, or I carry this amount of stress. Most people will say, well, my alarm goes off here. Like, I couldn't handle any more stress in my relationship. But people who have had really chaotic lives, really distressful lives, trauma, stuff like that, they're way up here. And it's the person who, you know, if you've known anybody like that, that you look at and say, you know, how the heck are you dealing with that? Because it's overwhelming to anybody else listening. So you know, we also have lots of people in our world now that have some kind of trauma from something in life.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people out there where the alarms don't quite ring as they should. And so that's where, like, again, the self-awareness can come in and say, like, well, you know, and when I talk about trauma, it doesn't have to be like something that, you know, is bad as like child abuse or something like that in your life that kind of gives you, you know, funny impressions of what relationships might be.
Right.
It can be something like a really major car accident when you're 10 that leaves you really scared of the world. That person, though, had to figure out how to get through that trauma and start functioning. And then when they get stressed in life, they can usually handle a lot more stress than other people because they've handled a lot in a crazy situation that was really scary for them.
That makes sense.
I might have gone off on a tangent.
No, you didn't.
That's right. We love tangents. We go off them all the time.
We go off on those all the time, Colleen. Don't worry.
Kyle, question. Do you believe there's any unrealistic deal breakers?
Yes. I mean, people, you mean, can people make their list and have it be unrealistic?
Correct. What would you say about that?
Yes. The one that says, certainly when we have physical characteristic, like unreal, people stay only date guys over 10. You know, I mean, it's silly. And there's the one who, when you said, you know, is it okay to argue in a relationship? There's some people that have a zero tolerance for anybody saying anything that is not in agreement with them.
Right.
Those people have a really tough time maintaining relationships. So they'll say, well, I want us to always agree on things. I don't want to fight in my relationship. Those kind of things. When you take out being human, I mean, essentially what they're doing is taking out the flexibility that comes with being human and having a range of emotions. And when you take that out, you get a very unrealistic set of expectations.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
What other tips? Do you have any final tips to give?
Well, first, Colleen, tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah, the podcast, yes.
Which was amazing. Everyone's got to check it out. Tell us about your podcast.
So the podcast is called the Coaching Through Chaos Podcast.
Okay.
And it's on iTunes, SoundCloud. I think we're on Stitcher, all the major feeds that you can be on. And we're doing pretty well on there. And what I do is I present 30 minutes or so each week. I talk to experts and authors in certain areas of life, and it's designed that, well, my hope is that the audience gets, inspired, motivated, and empowered by the information that they're presented with. And we cover all sorts of topics, including relationships, finances, health and wellness, addictions, anything you can think of that has to deal with like a facet of life. We're going to cover it. Like I've got an expert in resiliency coming up, and I've got an expert in wellness coming up, and then we're going to feature some entrepreneurs in future sessions because I think it's really great to kind of see how people have overcome and created products or businesses that provide services to people. So we have that going on, and then I have once a month, I present a resource that's strictly for our veteran population or their families, whether it's a veteran-owned company or a company that is designed strictly to serve veterans better. That's nice. I'm out here now. I'm from Long Island, as you mentioned. I'm Frankston.
Of course, Long Island.
I'm in San Diego now. We're definitely a military county. Like there's tons of military out here, and so I just see this need as a therapist for these resources, and I know that a lot of people don't even know that they exist. So what I'm doing with the podcast is building an online database for these resources. So each week, each Tuesday, we launch a new episode, and I also launch a blog post that goes with it. So I think I forget what the name is, but the blog pod, something like that. So that's essentially what it is. And we're doing well. It's really neat to kind of find the people listening to it. We made it to number 2 in social services.
That's awesome.
We made it to number 7 or 8 in science and medicine. And we're on all the new and noteworthy pages. And we've been there since we launched in June. So I'm really excited about it.
What day of the week is it, Colleen?
What's that?
What day of the week can they listen to your podcast?
Every Tuesday.
Tuesday. What time?
Well, we get them uploaded around by about 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So the podcast, they just get launched on Tuesdays, and they're out there then for everybody to listen to when they can.
So they would just go on iTunes and search Coaching Through Chaos?
Yes.
Okay.
Coaching Through Chaos on iTunes, and if you don't have iTunes, you can go to SoundCloud, Stitcher, iPod, or TuneIn.com. or my website, coachingthroughchaos.com.
Coachingthroughchaos.com. That's Colleen's website.
Yeah.
And you do Skype. If people want to call to get therapy with you, you Skype?
Well, therapy can't cross the state lines, but I certainly do coach people.
Okay.
And so we can do Skype coaching sessions. And certainly if somebody happens to see this on the internet and they're in California, we can do that. We can do straight out psychotherapy over the internet as well.
Okay,
like
awesome.
That's perfect.
I'll be calling you tomorrow.
I'll look forward to that.
No filter. Chrissy, hashtag no filter.
Any final tips that you have, Colleen,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
single ladies out there
Exactly.
looking for the right mate?
Okay, I'd say don't rush things. I'd say if you are out of a relationship and just getting back into it, and everybody goes online these days to date, I would say go out with 5 or 6 guys a couple of times before you decide who you're going to stick with.
Okay.
Because there are lots of nice guys out there, and you know you want to know, but who are the ones that you really want to stick around with? So go out a few times with a handful of people, take it slow, and look for those red flags. Do not overlook the red flags.
Do not overlook them, which everyone tends to do.
And think about like staying present. Don't worry about all the stuff from the past. Stay very present in the moment with them, and you'll have a better time also on the date.
We love it.
You are awesome, Colleen.
All right, Colleen, you ready for a selfie
You're a lovely lady. You really are.
You are. We love you.
This has been great. This is a lot of fun.
All right.
We're going to do our selfie.
My leg has fallen asleep.
Me too. Don't steal my lips.
Oh, you want the lips?
What is Colleen using?
Colleen's using the headband. Make sure, Tom, I have it right.
Is it on us? Up. Guys, I had it wrong. Oh, you did it good.
I did it good, right?
All right, ready?
Uh-huh.
Tell me, Connie.
Like,
I do like a million of them, Colleen.
A million pictures.
All right. You can find Colleen Mullen at coachingthroughchaos.com. Right?
And we love Colleen. Check her out.
We love
you. Yeah.
Do you sing heavy metal as well, like Frank?
No, but I'm definitely a stand-up sister. I go to all of his shows when he comes out to the West Coast.
She actually does. And actually, Colleen, didn't I meet you at like the Emporium? I met you somewhere. I know I did.
The thing in Huntington at
the Paramount.
All right, we love you, Colleen.
Show we met.
That's right. That's right. The Hall of Fame. That's right. Colleen, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much. We're out. Peace out.
Bye.
Ciao.
We had 2 minutes, Tom Ely. Have you?